Okay friends, in this video I am going to explain you about what are the definitions and what are the subtopics prepared to get 100% score either in academic or in competitive examinations from the chapter Relations. To attempt all the questions in examinations, what are the subtopics and formulae definitions are to be prepared. Let us see. Those things are in the chapter Relations. First we have to learn about ordered pair. Okay, how to define an ordered pair, how to denote an ordered pair. So what is the bracket to represent an ordered pair? In this ordered pair, what is small a? It is called first coordinate. What is small b? It is called second coordinate. And what is the main difference between ordered pair and set bracket? So in the ordered pair, order of the elements is very important, but in case of sets bracket, parenthesis bracket, order of the elements is not an important. So this is the main difference between ordered pair and set. Okay, of course both of they are containing same type of elements, but in this order of the things is very important. In case of sets bracket, order of the things has no important. Just it is enough to learn these are the things under the concept ordered pair. Then after, equality of ordered pairs. In this we have to learn in each and every case two ordered pairs are equal or not. If they are equal, what is the condition must be satisfied by them? See, ordered pair 2, 3 is not equals to 3, 2. Of course, same numerals appeared in both the brackets, but 2, 3 is not equals to 3, 2. As we discussed in the above, inside of ordered pair brackets, order of the things is very important to say that two ordered pairs are equal. Of course, ordered pairs also can be equal only when corresponding first coordinates and second coordinates are equal. In that case, both the ordered pairs are equal, and some more examples we have to discuss in the concept equality of ordered pair. Then after, another important one, Cartesian product. So already we know operations on sets like union, intersection, difference and complementary. There is one more operation will come between two sets named as product. That product is used in between two sets. That's why it is called Cartesian product. Its representation and its definition, how to define a Cartesian product, we have to learn. That is ordered pair x comma y such that x belongs to A, y belongs to B. So this is the definition of Cartesian product. By taking one example, we can see. Then after, cardinality of Cartesian product. Cardinal number or cardinality of Cartesian product, it is denoted by n of A cross B. Cardinality is also called as order of A cross B, can also be written as O of A cross B. And what is the formula to find cardinality or cardinal number of a Cartesian product of two sets? That is nothing but n of A into n of B. So we should also discuss about what is n of B cross A, n of A into n of B, and also we have to see whether they are equivalent or not, whether they are equal or not, and the properties also. So always n of A cross B is equals to n of B cross A. That's why these are equivalent sets. They may or may not be equal. So A cross B need not be equals to B cross A. So that's why Cartesian product of two sets need not follows commutative property. So that thing also we should discuss under this properties of Cartesian product. how Cartesian products are equal. When we can say, is there any possibility to get A cross B is equals to B cross A or not? We have to check. In case of A is equals to B, A cross B is always equals to B cross A. In case of A is not equals to B, A cross B never be equals to B cross A. So that's why we can use commutative property on Cartesian product as if A is equals to B, Cartesian product is always commutative. If A is not equals to B, Cartesian product is not commutative. If A comma B are any two sets, Cartesian product need not be commutative. So these are the three things we have to observe. So n of A cross B not only applicable for two sets, it can be applicable for arbitrarily chosen any number of sets, like n of A cross B cross C also can be written as n of A into n of B into n of C. Okay, we can also apply this for n of A cross B cross C cross D also. So this is about cardinality of Cartesian product and properties of Cartesian product. Okay, see another thing, properties of Cartesian product, of course we have seen already. If A is a subset of B, what about their Cartesian product? Whenever one of the set, either A is equal to empty set or B is equals to empty set, what about A cross B is also an empty set. Okay, like we can also see that n of A cross B is equals to n of A into n of B. N of A cross B is nothing but n of phi. If any one of them is an empty set, n of A cross B is always 0. N of A cross B 0 means A cross B is called a null set. So that is covered under properties of Cartesian product. Next, definition of relation. It is very important point. How to define a relation? So relation definition based on sets, in particularly based on subset. So relation is nothing but a subset of A cross B. You may get doubt, is every subset of A cross B is relation or not? Yes, each and every subset of A cross B is called a relation from A to B. So that's why if R is a relation from A to B, it can be written as R subset or equal to A cross B. It is very clear that sometimes R may be equals to A cross B also. Even R is A cross B also, it is a subset of A cross B. That's why it is also called a relation. So relation is nothing but a set, in particularly a subset of Cartesian product. So R is a relation from B to A means R should be a subset of B cross A. So among the all subsets of A cross B, largest subset is A cross B itself. It is called universal relation. Okay, so that's we will learn under universal and null relation. Empty set is also subset of every set. So phi is called a null relation. Okay, next, domain and ranges of relation. So this is also an important concept, domain. How to define a domain, how to define a range. It's very easy. Whenever R is a relation from A to B, now the domain of R is defined by domain of R is equals to set X such that X comma Y belongs to R. This says that the set of all first coordinates in the ordered pairs present in capital R. Similarly, set of all second coordinates in the ordered pairs of capital R is called range, domain range, and B is called codomain. So these are the definitions enough, and this is the way to find. Okay, for example, R is a relation 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 5. Now tell me what is its domain? Set of all first coordinates 1 comma 1 comma 2. So no need to write 1 twice. It is enough to write only once. Domain is 1 comma 2. Range is what? 1 to 5. Set of all second coordinates in the ordered pairs of capital R. So that is about domain and range. Next, wide, universal and proper relations. See, R is a subset or equals to A cross B. R is called a relation from A to B. If R is equals to empty set, it is called wide relation. R is equals to A cross B set, it is called universal relation. R is not equal to phi, R is not equals to A cross B, then it is called proper relation. Okay. How to count number of relations, how to count number of proper relations, how to count number of non-empty relations, how to count number of non-empty proper relations are important. Next, number of relations. Same. How to count number of relations? Number of relations is nothing but number of subsets of A cross B. So that formula is enough. To find number of non-empty relations, total number of relations minus 1. To find number of proper relations, total number of relations minus 1 is enough. To find number of non-empty proper relations, total number of relations minus 2 we have to write. Next, types of relations. In this, we have to learn about identity relation, inverse relation, composite relation, reflexive relation, symmetric relation, transitive relation, antisymmetric relation, equivalence relation, partial ordered relation. So these are the things we have to learn under types of relations. Also, congruence modulo M. Congruence modulo also we should learn under types of relations. Okay, so these are the things enough. Why? Because most of the problems will be covered from the types of relations only. They will give one question, check whether it is reflexive, symmetric, transitive, equivalence, antisymmetric, partial order or not. Most of the questions based on types of relations only. That's why it is necessary to thorough in the types of relations. What is the condition for reflexive relation? What is the condition for symmetric relation? What is the condition for transitive relation? Condition for antisymmetric. Is there any relation between symmetric and antisymmetric? So these are the things important under types of relations. Okay. Then after, roster and set builder form of a relation. Suppose a relation is given 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Same as roster form of a set. Because relation is a set. Roster form of a relation means it is the representation of a relation listing out all the elements present in it. Here element means an ordered pair. So listing out all the possible ordered pairs in the given relation, that representation is called roster form. And set builder form means without listing all the elements in a relation, just by writing their common property, that representation is called set builder form. So they may ask the question, by giving set builder form, convert into roster form, or by giving roster form, convert into set builder form. So these are the things we have to learn under set builder form and roster form. Nature of relation. In most of the problems, nature of the relations giving on the concepts reflection, symmetric, transitive, equivalence, antisymmetric, partial order. So these are the things enough to decide the nature of relation and conditions for them. When you know conditions, easy to decide whether a given relation belongs to these types or not. Okay. Next, brother, sister, mother and father relations. They will give R is a relation on the set of family members such that ordered pair x comma y, x is a brother of y. They will give like this. Then what is the nature of relation capital R? Okay, we have to check it belongs to which type of relation. Okay, to check that we should be thorough in the conditions of, as we discussed earlier, reflexive, symmetric, transitive, antisymmetric. Check whether it is reflexive or not. To check it is reflexive or not, we have to verify whether an element x comma x belongs to R or not. To say that x comma x belongs to R, it should be sentence x is a brother of x should be true. Is it true? X can be a brother himself? No. So that's why this is the statement false. Whenever statement is false, x comma x does not belongs to R. If x comma x does not belongs to R is not reflexive relation. Similarly, how to check whether it is symmetric or not? By taking x comma y belongs to R. When we are writing x comma y belongs to R means x is a brother of y is true. Now check whether y is a brother of x or not. Okay. So y comma x may or may not belongs to R. Why? Because sometimes it may be, sometimes it may not be. X is a brother of y. Suppose you are one person. There is your brother. You are x, your brother is y. X is a brother of y as well as y is a brother of x is also true. In that case, it is symmetric. But if there is at least one case which is fails to satisfy that condition, we can't say that it is symmetric. Suppose x, you are there, your male candidate, okay, your x, your sister is there, named as y. You see, x is a brother of y is true. But it's a converse case, y is a brother of x is wrong. So that's why every time it may or may not be true. That's why it is not symmetric. So brother relation, not reflexive, not symmetric. And transitiveness of brother relation, x, y, z. X is a brother of y, y is a brother of z. We have to consider x is a brother of y, x is male, y is also male. Because y is a brother of z. We don't know gender of z, male or female. Now, how x and z are related? Definitely x is a brother of z. Of course, z female. Then also x is a brother of z is right sentence. That's why brother relation is only transitive relation. Similarly, sister relation, transitive. Mother relation, not reflexive, not symmetric, not transitive, not antisymmetric. Father relation also. So these are greatest relations in the world. We cannot replace them by any other relation. That's why they were not reflexive, not symmetric, not transitive, etc. Okay. Next, greater than, lesser than and equal relations. Sometimes they will give questions like this. Suppose R is a relation defined on set of real numbers such that x greater than y. Check whether it is reflexive, symmetric, transitive or antisymmetric. One, we can say that it is reflexive if x comma x belongs to R. To say that x comma x belongs to R, they should satisfy the condition x greater than x. But which is wrong. X never be greater than x, so that x comma x does not belongs to R. It is not reflexive. Can you say that if x greater than y, then y is also greater than x? Which is wrong. Means it is not symmetric. Not reflexive, not symmetric. X, y, z. To check the transitiveness of relation, we have to consider three real numbers. Also, we should consider first x greater than y, y greater than z. True sentences you consider. You should check whether x greater than z or not. If x greater than y and y greater than z, according to the number system, x is automatically greater than z. Okay? So this is transitive relation. Greater than relation, only transitive. Lesser than relation, only transitive. But equality relation, what about equality relation? X is equal to x is true. It is reflexive. If x is equal to y, y is also equal to x. It is symmetric. If x is equal to y and y is equal to z, then automatically x is also equals to z. So it is transitive. Okay? If x comma y belongs to R, y comma x belongs to R, automatically x is equal to y. It is antisymmetric also. That's why equality relation is reflexive, symmetric, transitive, equivalence, antisymmetric partial order also. That is equality relation. Next, parallel and perpendicular relations. Parallel and perpendicular relations. See, sometimes they will give relation defined on set of straight lines in a plane. In a plane is very, very important here. If it is in a space, its nature will be changed. So, in a plane means only in two-dimensional geometry. If we consider any two straight lines, let us check its reflexivity first. X is a line always parallel to itself. It is true. Every line is parallel to itself. Why? Because line will be coincide with itself. Coincident lines are always parallel. Parallel lines may or may not be coincident. Two lines are parallel, we can't say they are coincident or not. But whenever two lines are coincident, definitely they are parallel to each other. So that's why x comma x will satisfy this condition. Belongs to R. Whenever this condition is satisfied, such ordered pair belongs to R. It is reflexive. Of course, symmetric. Whenever one line is parallel to another line, this is x, this is y. X is parallel to y. Obviously, y is also parallel to x. So that's why it is symmetric also. See, this is x, this is y, and this is z. X is parallel to y is parallel to z. Now what about the relation between x and z? Also parallel. This happens in a plane. If it is in a space, it may or may not be. Okay. So that's why parallel relation is an equivalence. Similarly, perpendicular relation also. Perpendicular lines in a plane. Perpendicular relation only symmetric, not reflexive, not transitive. One line is perpendicular to another line. Obviously, another line is also perpendicular to it. Every line is not perpendicular to itself. One line is perpendicular to another line. One more line is perpendicular to second line. Then first line and third line should be parallel to each other in a plane. In a space, it may not possible. So that's why perpendicular relation only symmetric, not reflexive, not transitive. Difference between identity and reflexive relations. Identity reflexive will looks like same. Okay. See here, whenever capital A is equals to set 1, 2, 3, R is a relation defined on capital A 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. See, this is a relation containing the elements all are in the form of x, x such that x belongs to A. This is an identity relation. But reflexive relation, whichever the relation, these three elements must belongs to it. This is reflexive relation. So it is satisfying the condition for all x belongs to A, x, x belongs to R. Okay. Here, each and every element in the relation should be in the form of x, x. But here, an element is of the form x, x should belongs to R. There is a lot of difference between these two. But there is a relation between them. Every identity relation is reflexive. See, now it is not an identity relation. Now it is not a reflexive relation. So here 3, 3 missed. Here 3, 3 should be there in capital R. If I rub 1, 2, doesn't affect on reflexive relation. If I rub 1, 3, still it is reflexive relation. If I rub anything from this, it cannot be an identity relation. If capital A containing only 3 elements, capital A containing 3 elements 1, 2, 3, identity relation definitely contains only 3 elements, and those are the elements 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 only. That is identity relation. Reflexive relation means a relation which contains minimum 3 elements. They are 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Why I am using the word minimum? At least to define a reflexive relation, these 3 elements must be present in R. Remaining elements, your choice. If there is no other element except these 3, then also it is reflexive. As well as identity. Reflexive relation can be identity. Reflexive relation cannot be identity. Whenever 1, 2 present, it is reflexive, not an identity. Reflexive means it contains at least 3 elements. They are 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Along with them, any number of elements may be present. Okay? But identity means exactly 3 elements. They are 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 only. So this is the main difference between identity and reflexive relations. And also inverse relation we have to learn. How the inverse relation will be formed? Inverse relation is a relation obtained by just reversing the coordinates in ordered pairs. 1, 2, 2, 3 is one relation. Its inverse relation obtained by reversing the coordinates in the ordered pairs. Okay? Domain of capital R is range of R inverse. Range of capital R will be domain of R inverse. Okay? R and R inverse may or may not be equal. Okay? So this is about relations briefly. To get full video class on this chapter, Ramaya Competitive Coaching Center app from Google Play Store.
ఇప్పటి నుంచి అంటే ఆఫ్లైన్ ఎలా అయితే సక్సెస్ అయ్యామో, ఎలా అయితే మాకు ఆ సీక్రెట్ తెలుసో, ఇప్పటి నుంచి ఆన్లైన్ కోచింగ్లో కూడా అదే లెక్చరర్స్తోని అదే మెటీరియల్స్, అవే ఆన్లైన్ టెస్ట్లు, అంటే టెస్ట్లు కూడా ఆన్లైనే రాసుకునేటట్టు మీకు స్పెషాలిటీసు మన యాప్లో డెవలప్ చేశాము. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకు యాప్లో ఏముంటాయంటే కోచింగ్ అంటే వీడియోస్ రూపంలో మేము కోచింగ్ ఇస్తాం, మెటీరియల్స్ కూడా పీడిఎఫ్ రూపంలో ఇస్తాం, టెస్ట్లు కూడా మీరు డైరెక్ట్ ఆన్లైన్ టెస్ట్లు మీరు అందులోనే యాప్లోనే మీరు రాసుకోవచ్చు. యాప్ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకుంటే మీరు ఆన్లైన్ టెస్టులతో పాటు మెటీరియల్స్తో పాటు సబ్జెక్ట్ సంబంధించిన వీడియోస్ కూడా మీకు అందుబాటులోకి తీసుకొస్తున్నాము. సో మీరందరూ రామయ్య కాంపిటేటివ్ కోచింగ్ సెంటర్ యాప్ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. యాప్లో అంటే ప్లే స్టోర్లోకి వెళ్ళి మీరు డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. కింద లింక్ కూడా ఇచ్చాము, మరొకసారి చెప్తున్నాను, కింద లింక్ కూడా ఇచ్చాము. ఆ లింక్ క్లిక్ చేస్తే మీరు యాప్ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. మరిన్ని అప్డేట్స్ కోసం రామయ్య కాంపిటేటివ్ కోచింగ్ సెంటర్ యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకోండి, లైక్ చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి. ఏం ప్రాబ్లం అంటే ఏమి మీకు డౌట్ ఉన్నా కూడా కామెంట్ బాక్స్లో కామెంట్ చేయండి. థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ వాచింగ్.